many white people bowed to me.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. What's happening?
And we standing right now.
And why shouldn't we stand? Hold on.
Thanks for that knowledge. See, I didn't know that. So that sends a different spin on it.
Ooh, I might house any stranger in my house. It would depend.
Thank you so much, man. You don't know how much I appreciate you doing this for us, brother.
Look at these people. Look at these crazy ass people, bro.
You guys are our future. This is the future.
In Chicago, progressive Mayor Brandon Johnson refuses to bend or waver in his stance on these issues. Now, remember, nearly $600 million has been the cost so far to Chicago of migrant services in the last 2 years, contributing to a $1 billion budget shortfall for the Windy City. Johnson has proposed raising taxes on the residents of Chicago to pay for it.
We are the ones who pay your salaries. Salaries. Let me accentuate on that. But yet, you want to overlook us like we don't exist.
The good news is we got 48 days before Trump take that oath. In January, ICE gonna come in and get rid of the illegal immigrants. You got Cash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're gonna have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's gonna be an audit. Next, it's gonna be an investigation. Then it's gonna be an indictment. Conviction. That's what's gonna happen to you.
Our mayor is embarrassing us, y'all, around the world. And you all took the power back from him to say the city of Chicago is out of the business of funding illegals. We are out of the business of prioritizing non-American citizens on top of the American citizens who go out in this cold weather every day to make money to pay their taxes.
Well, the people speaking out in Chicago, the last woman that you heard there, P. Ray Easley, will join me in just a moment. But first, the backstory here with our correspondent Garrett Tenney in Chicago. Very flaring tempers at that meeting on Monday night, Garrett.
Despite all of those frustrations you heard from voters there, Mayor Brandon Johnson again tried to paint his handling of the migrant crisis as a huge success. The mayor's 14% approval rating, which is largely due to the crisis, might disagree, though. Remember, Johnson not only welcomed the more than 51,000 migrants who arrived in Chicago, he encouraged them to come and then spent nearly $600 million taxpayer dollars to take care of them. So many lifelong Democrats in this deep blue city, especially in black and brown communities, are not only blasting the progressive mayor's proposed tax increases, but his promise to do everything in his power to block President Trump's plans for mass deportations.
Since you want to crash out, some of y'all said y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, please come here first, because you know what? We're going to help you.
Now, I'm going to let you know now, the people of Chicago, we're done with you.
I'm an immigrant. I came to the United States legally, and I am very, very embarrassed for what my other fellow Latin American citizens are doing in the city. On behalf of the people that work, on behalf of the people that pay taxes, on behalf of the people that contribute to the city.
And you so strong about protecting those aliens, but you won't do nothing for the U.S. citizens. We are the ones who pay your salaries.
Those frustrations and Chicago's fiscal challenges could get even worse, though, if Johnson continues to double down on defending and supporting the migrants. 20% of the mayor's budget relies on federal grants, which the Trump team says it will hold back from sanctuary cities.
As I've said, the city of Chicago, we're open for business. We're just not for sale. What we can do is do what we can control.
As far as what the city can control, you'll remember earlier this year, Mayor Johnson blocked a proposal to put a voter referendum to change Chicago's sanctuary city status. We're told, based on the new political realities here, there's a chance that proposal could come up again next year.
Garrett, thank you very much. So let's bring in Chicago resident and radio host P. Ray Easley. She attended yesterday's city council meeting. She once interned as a high school senior for then State Senator Barack Obama and is now a supporter of President-elect Trump and served as a campaign surrogate over the course of the campaign. P. Ray, thank you for joining us today. It's good to have you with us. Welcome. So this is Mayor Brandon Johnson on November 12th. So this is shortly after the election. And he was responding to some of the new policies that are the expectation in the incoming Trump administration with regard to deportation. Watch what he said on November 12th.
His threat is not just towards new arrivals and undocumented families. His threats are also against black families. I'm a descendant of slaves. Living through threat is painful. Why would I want anybody else to experience that? Whether you are a new arrival or someone who came up through the Great Migration from the South. We're not going to threaten people. We're going to stand up and fight for people.
P. Ray, what's your response to what the mayor had to say back on the 12th?
I think it's the most disrespectful thing he's ever said out of his mouth. We, the American Negro people, are 100% American. This illegal immigration, whatever they're calling it, it is none of our business. We are as American as sweet potato pie, and we stand with the American president to make our borders secure and make our citizens safe. It's an insult to our ancestors for him to try to use our generational trauma that we're trying to get over in our country. We're not guests here. This is our country. I'm an 8th generation free American. That's not counting before the 1870 census. So when we're talking about how we're going to deal with the illegals, we have zero American Negro political capital to spend on this. This is our country, and we want to make it great as well.
You know, it's fascinating to watch these various speakers at this event. The governor of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, has also said that he will do whatever it takes to protect the new arrivals that are, using up a lot of the services in Illinois right now. Here he is on November 14th. Watch this.
We have a law on the books in the state of Illinois called the Trust Act, which prohibits our local law enforcement and sheriffs and the like from coordinating with the federal authorities. I'm going to do everything that I can to protect our undocumented immigrants. They're residents of our state.
So it's pretty clear that he and the mayor are out of step with the way that you think and the other individuals that we just watched. What's your sense of Illinois and Chicago in general? Do you see a change happening? I mean, Biden obviously still won in the state of Illinois, but what do you see on the ground politically?
Well, yes, President Biden or Kamala, rather, won.
Excuse me, Kamala Harris.
However, we have increased the voter turnout for the Republican Party, specifically President Trump, astronomically. We made national news here. We don't have money to pay for these illegals anymore. We are out of the business of funding illegals, regardless of what the mayor or the governor is saying. We are looking forward to President Trump and Tom Homan coming here to assist us. And every day we share the number with ICE with each other, which is 866-DHS2-ICE. See something, say something. Send them to the city of Chicago. We're praying for ICE, and we cannot wait to get here. We are going to be lockstep with President Trump in Agenda 47's goal of securing who we are. It doesn't matter that people don't like the president. It doesn't matter that people don't like his tweets or what they call rhetoric. We are fighting for our own survival. Our grandparents came up here as migrants. Not these illegal immigrants. When they came up during the Great Migration, they stood on their feet in American factories to give us the land that we're currently trying to hold on to today. Because in group chats should not be about property taxes, but they are, because we are being taxed so that the illegals can feast off of our hard work. What did they do to deserve this? Why are they so special that they get to come up to Chicago and just thrive while our people are struggling, going out in cold weather every day to get money to pay their taxes? We're not doing that anymore. And President Trump, please come to Chicago. Please, please, please. We're going to give you a ticker tape parade. We need you right here in our city to reinvigorate us.
P. Ray Easley, thank you very much. I'm going to ask Jason Miller, who works for the president, if he plans on visiting cities like Chicago. So we'll try to get you an answer on that right away. P. Ray, thank you very much. Good to see you. Pleasure. Good to have you here.
My people, you got to go through me first. Mayor Brandon, whatever his name is, Johnson comes out. How do I forget the name Johnson?
That's okay.
It's pretty low. But he comes out and says, we have repaired the relationships with our police force. The last thing we're going to do is reopen those scabs and allow that. What are you talking about? When ICE shows up with a detainer and says he wants that prisoner, you should say, please take the gangster off my hands and his neck tattoo and put him back in Venezuela. I didn't see any of that. I am so encouraged to hear that, because what is in the best interest of the people instead of your backwoods party? The people are saying, you're taking my services, you're overriding my classrooms, you're taking my money, you're ruining my airports, you're taking over my subways, you're taking over my streets. Please tell me, stop helping me. You're not doing anything for me. And this is the minority community who, with President increased in all those areas, active President Trump, with his staff that he's building up, to go back to Chicago, back to New York, back to Philadelphia, says, now that I got some of your votes, I want to find out how else I can help. I saw you on Outnumbered. I want to help you out. How do I do that? How do you convince your politicians to give me the power to let Tom Homan do his job?